All right, everybody, welcome to another installment here on the Special Educator Series podcast. We're going to be starting a new series here on music technology. Before we get going, my standard disclosure statement about the use of AI and public available media for the purpose of education and demonstration. Just so you know, that's what we do here. So this first episode is going to be about technology as it applies to just stage performances. Not too particular. I'm just going to gloss over this stuff before we get going here. Hey everybody, going to try and make this one a little bit more fun and entertaining for you. Let's get down to business first. Website, tsegrp.org. Email, host@tsegrp.org. Facebook, X, Rumble, and Medium.com are at tsegrp. YouTube at tsedgrp. And then Instagram and LinkedIn are the Special Educator. Also have icons down at the bottom of the screen asking you to like, comment, save, share, follow, and subscribe if you would please. Every little bit of clickety click there at the bottom does definitely help. So let's get into this a little bit. If you remember, I'm in several bands. I've posted other stuff. I have my own music studio here in the basement I do for recording and music and whatever you see that comes out here on camera for the Special Educator. Anyway, I wanted to get into something music related, and a number of people have met myself and the other band members out on the road, and we constantly preach about how we have evolved. That our stage gear and the stuff that we use has evolved over time. So I've created a PowerPoint presentation. I'm trying to leave brand names and stuff out of this just to avoid any risk of seeming like I'm endorsing a product or whatever might be out there. I'm trying to avoid that here. So if I mention anything by name, it's just because we use it personally, and it does not mean it's the only way to go. So let's get on here. Advancements in live music performance technology. This is probably one of the single biggest changes in our lives as musicians that I have seen so far. And I'm going to turn the music completely off here, although I do like it just to have a little something to think about. So what we're going to cover is just a brief introduction. I'm going to talk about digital mixers, wireless and Ethernet connectivity, the Class D power amplification that's out these days, different types of speaker systems that are more modern than the typical cabinet-loaded, woofer and tweeter, and condensed use of condenser microphones on stage, which is now becoming very popular, and of course the advancement into LED lighting. So first of all, we're just going to talk about the performance technology. And the traditional music setups of most of you remember involved analog technology, mixing boards in particular. And the analog equipment, it was the same for quite a long time. I mean, I remember up into the 80s and 90s using old analog stuff. The only limitations here is the sound quality is somewhat compromised. They're certainly not portable. And I want to say the portability was the biggest thing. And on top of that, you have the flexibility. With all the new digital technology, there's a lot more features to be packed into such a smaller space and lighter weight. So let's move on to the first thing that we're going to talk about this enhanced sound quality. Everything that is involved in sound reproduction these days, compared to what the old analog tech has, is simply going to give you better sound quality, greater control, and a way to be more creative and expressive in general with the audience as well as each other. So digital mixers are the first one. I'm just going to go over here. This to us was the greatest thing. No more knobs and faders and sliders and things like that to get dirty or worry about spilling stuff on. Nowadays, digital mixers pretty much have everything built into them, and you can control it from tablets, laptops, smartphones, and things of that sort. Wireless audio systems, not everybody uses it, but most people are aware of wireless audio. You can use it for instrument systems, you can use it for monitoring. It's great. Class D amplifiers, huge advancement in being compact and powerful and energy efficient. Class D amplification really is a huge benefit. And then finally, microphones have improved quite a bit over the years. I mean, you can't even really, I don't know, you can't even really compare the technology overall these days. So let's go into digital mixers for a second. Biggest benefit in digital mixers that you're going to come across is streamlined sound engineering. Instead of having all of these knobs and switches and buttons and things like that, you're going to find things are far more streamlined, and they're just sitting in a common application, usually built into the firmware. Multi-track recording on a lot of these systems is built in, so instead of having to record with like a little camcorder or whatever you may have used before, 2-channel out, you can actually get full-blown multi-track recording with a lot of these and go in and tweak it later. And then, of course, the built-in effects. We don't need to discuss too much about that, but a lot of these modern systems have built-in effects. In most cases, you're going to find dynamic effects for compression, noise gate, limiting, things like that. You're going to find all the EQs are going to be very high-end graphic, or in most cases, full parametric EQ equalization. And you're going to also have basic things like reverb and delay, and all that stuff will be in there. And again, I'm trying not to mention particular brands, but just about everybody out there has something comparable. So easy, the benefits of this: easy interface navigation, programmable presets, enhanced connectivity that you're going to be dealing with, and far more improved workflow efficiency. And to be honest with you, I think it's safer just to have this out there. So again, enhanced control and the superior sound quality gives you an immersive experience. And what we're talking about sound quality, for those of you that are tech nerds, we're talking about things like signal noise ratio, frequency response, dynamic range, all of those stats that we like to geek out with when it comes to audio. Now, wireless and Ethernet connectivity. This is an advancement here that goes all over. So especially when you're dealing with, we all know about wireless. There's digital, there's radio frequency, there's a whole bunch of different wireless technology out there. The 600 megahertz range has been discontinued. You don't want to use that anymore, but there's so much out there that's really, really good and decent for use. Low latency and high bandwidth are really the key here about it. I'm not going to worry about distance of transmission, anything from 30 feet to 1,000 feet. It's all over the map there. But again, bandwidth and low latency are going to give you the performance that you're looking for. Now, we've been talking about Ethernet. I mentioned it in the last slide, but there are systems now that use Ethernet cable to connect the systems and basically exchange digital file packets rather than an actual analog signal of sorts. This is signal preservation. It gives you much better ability to communicate with any devices across the stage and even off stage, and really just is coming to head here, especially when you're talking about major music productions you go see now. A lot of it is connected by Ethernet. Just, it's so much easier and better to work with. Let's talk about Class D amplification. Class D amplification is nothing new, and its main point was to make things lighter and more efficient. So how they actually work, they convert input signals into a series of pulses. Think of it as like, people want to call them digital switching amplifiers. partially true, but they're not like audio to digital, digital audio conversion in the classic sense. They are very high efficiency designs usually. In live music applications, it's dealing with space saving and weight reduction, especially if you got to haul stuff around. I'm telling you, it is a huge benefit. Advantages. We already mentioned the compact size and lighter weight and increased efficiency. Those three things alone make it worthwhile to consider. I like the picture of the old tubes there. That makes things kind of nostalgic for me. Let's see here, do this one. So, the versatility. The Class D power amplification comes in all sorts of different capacities. It has a very reliable power supply, and it does preserve sound quality. Now, the purists out there say Class A is the only way to go. I'm willing to agree with you, but when it comes to hauling gear around and reliability and just ease of use, Class D is kind of replacing all that. If you're an audiophile at home, fine, nice Class A all-tube amplifier or Macintosh or something like that, great, have at it. Another advancement is the type of speakers that are used. And this photo here at the left shows a lot of traditional speaker designs with a typical woofer inside of a box or a tweeter. I want to talk about newer speaker technology, line array systems and waveguide systems. Waveguide systems are primarily developed by Bose, and that was to give you the extra bass frequency response in a smaller package. And the line array is really designed to help keep sound more distributed evenly across the performance area. So the key advantages are sound dispersion control, reduced acoustic interference because the sound waves are more controlled and directed the way they want, so they don't interfere with each other. And of course, the waveguide technology to give you the low end response without these massive subwoofer arrays. So, key issues are improved sound coverage. With these line array speakers, you can have much better coverage and less interference. There is a reduced feedback to it. With line arrays, you're dealing with multiple drivers set up literally in a line, and depending on their orientation and size and things like that, and everybody has their own take on it, you do get reduced feedback because there's no one point source for a microphone to be sensitized to. And generally, better sound quality over greater distance. This is really just because of the efficiency of the waves, sound waves coming out of the speaker. Let's talk about the next thing. I'll go here. For large venues and outdoor events, it has really made a difference because you can have high quality sound with fewer components and a much more efficient output. So you're going to get better projection, quality listening experience, and it's extremely versatile, especially for outdoor venues. Next, I want to get into something that is my favorite topic as a lead singer. Live stage microphones are moving to condensers. I stepped onto the condenser bandwagon many, many years ago, and it has gotten better ever since. Gone are the days, or behind us are the days of dynamic microphones. I'm not going to mention names, but everybody knows. There's definitely some tried and true older stuff out there that uses analog technology, but let's go with condensers here. So, much like a lot of the PA gear, when you go to condenser microphones, you're going to get better frequency response, better transient response, and it's really going to come down to the level of detail and sensitivity. And again, all those other stats that we audio geeks love, signal to noise ratio is all improved. And that's just the way to look at it. Now, I know this is a picture of a studio type condenser. You wouldn't use this on stage, but you're basically trying to just enhance the audio quality of what is going into the system. Better quality in, better quality out. You also get a much higher precision of what you are going to capture. So, because of the superior sound quality, they are getting to be the more standard choice for musicians out there, vocalists like myself. If you're ever out there in a live situation and you happen to run up against this, come on up, I'll show you. I've already had a couple of people sit in with us and use our system as a guest musician or guest singer, and it's a bit weird. If you're used to the older style analog stuff, this is definitely going to be weird to you. So it's worth a try. We're the guinea pigs. So myself and my fellow bandmates, you can look at us as guinea pigs. Another one, if you do use lighting, you're in a band that uses lighting, DMX control and LED bulbs are it. This is the way to go. LED stage lighting, much less energy consumption, much better color separation. You don't have to worry about gel sheets or lenses or anything else. It's built into the bulbs. And the transformation of a lighting design in such a vast number of ways just makes it extremely attractive. DMX control gives you precise lighting control. You can synchronize all sorts of light shows, and it can be done against all sorts of different lighting fixtures these days. DMX cables are a lot like XLR microphone cables. They have a different impedance and capacity, but they look very much like it, so the connectors are fairly easy to deal with too. So creative possibilities, you can have much better stage design. You can engage with the audience much more quickly because just the precision and timing of these are instant on, instant off, and really just a very, very promising thing to get into. So LED lighting with DMX control is the way to do it. And by the way, DMX control is also now available wirelessly. We cut the cables, the DMX cables. We now go with dongles and a transmitter, and that's how we're doing all of our lights. So in the conclusion, all this technology is meant to aid and assist and improve in what we've been doing for years. For those who've been doing the club and bar circuit, believe me, if you're still dealing with older analog technology, get rid of it. I get hired just as a PA guy to bring a modern system in and help other bands out. It's rare, but a lot of other bands are getting hip to the vibe here on this. You get the enhanced sound quality and a better experience for your audience. So, without further ado on this, I just want you to consider what's out there. If you've been, looking through the catalogs online, different companies that are out there providing music gear, I'm not going to say one is better than the other. If you really need to know, we ourselves, or I myself and the bands I'm involved with, our primary, if you want to call it mixer, digital mixer, is a Soundcraft unit, a UI series. They have different sizes on those, but that is what we've been using, and we love it. We have absolutely no problem with it. I've run into other people who are using very similar stuff from other companies, as well as what we use as well, and everybody is swearing by it. So if you need a little bit of time to see what it's about, come out and see us. Regardless of the bands that you come out and see, if I'm running the sound, it will be a digital mixing system. I also use condenser mics, so I'll go over all that with you if you want. But for right now, I just hope everything is finding you well out there. We are into a series of videos on stuff. The next one is going to be on instruments. So this is just overall technology. Next, I'm going to talk about instruments. So bring the music up for you before we sign out. Once again, I'm Tom Hankins, instructor, tutor, consultant, and musician. If you want to find us out there, tsegrp.org is the website. Host at tsegrp.org host at tsegrp.org, yes, is our email. Facebook, X, Rumble, and Medium.com at tsegrp. YouTube at tsedgrp. Instagram and LinkedIn are The Special Educator. Take care, folks. Peace, love, and happiness. See you next time.